More Democrats are speaking out, calling for President Biden to step aside. California Congressman Jared Huffman says that Democrats are not on a winning trajectory and also says the president should hand that torch to Vice President Harris. Watch this.
If President Biden decides that in the interests of defeating Donald Trump and saving this democracy and the free world from everything he represents, that he is ready to pass the torch, it needs to be, and I think should be, Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket.
For a reaction to all of this, let's welcome New York Post political reporter Jon Levine. Jon, this is a scary thought for a lot of Americans, that passing the torch means handing it over to Kamala Harris. She has had every opportunity as vice president, and she has squandered them all. She is not capable of running this country.
I mean, it's a scary thought for a lot of Democrats, too. I mean, the fact of the matter is Kamala Harris is about as popular as the Ebola virus. And I think part of the reason President Biden hasn't stepped aside already is the fact that everyone knows you basically have to give it to her, and there's no path for her. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the 2020 primary that she was in, where she competed against now President Biden, and she had to drop out before a single vote was cast. Her campaign spectacularly imploded. She was on track to lose her home state of California. As vice president, you'll notice, if you've been paying attention, her staff turnover has been immense. Every few months, there's stories of unrest and infighting in her office. You never see that with President Biden, by the way. And she has no campaign structure. I don't know that President Biden's campaign just shifts to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. She'd need to rebuild an infrastructure from the ground up. It's just impossible. It's a nuclear bomb. And so it's a terrible pickle Democrats now find themselves in.
Well, what we do know is that the purse would shift to her, his purse, his campaign purse. But having said that, ultimately, if you take Biden off the ticket, you're doing it because you realize he's not going to win and you want to put somebody up there who has a chance. I understand the political issues around Kamala Harris, that if you pass up a black woman vice president, it doesn't look good. Still, it doesn't better your chances for winning the election in November.
Look, I mean, on the other hand, I have to say, President Biden, there was a Democratic primary, and President Biden went through it. You could say it was unfair. The party rigged it on his behalf. Nevertheless, 50 million votes were cast, and President Biden won the delegates. He is the nominee of the party. I think there's grave, questions of democratic legitimacy if you're just going to have a bunch of party bosses come together at the convention and say, you know what, let's throw out all those votes, and Kamala's the presidential candidate, and that's it. And too bad, especially after what happened with Hillary and Bernie.
Well,
the people spoke on this already.
I think you're bringing up a great point, and many people are saying that the only way Biden goes is if he voluntarily says, I'm out. It's time, and acknowledges that, but he keeps doubling down and digging his heels in and saying, I'm not going anywhere. So ultimately, where does this leave the country? Because what I'm concerned about is that this debate was strategized to be so early on in the cycle that people are hoping they'll keep putting him out in different forums that are very controlled and say, no, see, he's fine. He was nervous that night. He was sick. He was jet lagged. All of these excuses. And you know what? The American people do have a little bit of a short memory. This was June. We're talking about an election in November. So will they be able to pull this off if he says, I'm staying?
I think the root of the problem from the Biden side is, and I think a lot of Americans with older parents might know this, older people often don't realize how far gone they are and how bad they've gotten. And if you ever had to take the car keys away from mom or dad, you know this. And I think Jill Biden probably said to him, you had a great night. Don't listen to these people. Don't listen to the haters. You did a great job. It was a bad debate. Who among us? And I think Biden himself probably doesn't realize how bad it is, and nobody is telling him. And there's going to be a second debate in September, and I think they're on track for another train wreck. And by that point, they'll be strapped to the rocket, and there'll be no getting rid of him.
There's no way, John. There is no way, even if he says it now, that he does that debate. I just think it's impossible.
I agree with you, and if they're smart, they will find a reason to cancel it. But again, I think Biden might just say, no, I want to prove to the American people that I can do this, and there's really no overruling him.
Wow. John, we could go on and on. I so appreciate your time tonight. Good to see you.